I have a call. I'm going to take this just in case it's one of the appellants.
Okay.
Councilman, how was your weekend? Brian?
Okay. Yes.
How was your weekend?
It was all right. It was wonderful outside.
It was beautiful. It was the nicest weekend I can remember in a long time.
Agreed.
Okay, I'm back.
All right, we can go ahead and get started, Liz. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I will be reading the preamble for you this morning. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conduct its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak in our particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on our particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comments on our particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Thank you. Ms. Barnes?
Here. Good morning.
Good morning. Ms. Brown?
Present.
Ms. Bate?
Present.
Ms. Britt?
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum. So, Madam Chair, we do have one postponement this morning. Calendar number 21-175 regarding 780 London Road. This is Edward Davis, owner, proposed to establish a barber beauty shop on a parcel located in a local retail business district and a multifamily residential district. In this case, there is a land bank lot involved in the overall project, and the city is asking for a postponement at this time to allow for that process to happen. So we could give it a date if you want to push it out 30 days. That would be April 4th, April 11th, or of course it's up to you if you want to push it out a little bit further.
Yeah, give them the whatever the week after the 11th is, just in
Okay.
case.
April 18th.
All right.
April 18th. So anybody here for that case, you can go home. Back to work or wherever.
All right. So I saw that Councilman Mooney was in first, so we'll get started with his case.
Absolutely. All right. As a courtesy to our council people, when they are present, we move them to the head of the line. So we'll begin with calendar number 22-025. This is at 10011 Clifton Boulevard. Big House Development LLC owner proposes to erect a new 10,088 square foot, 6-unit, 3-story building in an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 5. Of note, the previous postponement was made at the request of the city to allow time for the land bank lot to transfer. The first postponement was made at the request of the councilman to allow more time for community review. And with that, Madam Chair, I will pass it to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Good morning. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and your address, please.
I do. David Bowen, 10924 Lake Avenue.
I do. Kyle Hulot, 2019 Center Street, Ohio.
Brian Mooney, 3402 West Boulevard, Cleveland.
I do. Donald Pettit, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
Anyone else?
Are you asking for swearing in for public comment?
Yes, we are.
All right. This is Edward Papp representing Irma Papp of 10195 Clifton. She's on the line on my phone with me.
Okay, can she assist? Well, she's on a call and then you're on the call with us?
That's correct. She's listening.
All right, you'll do the speaking though,
That
right?
is correct.
Got it. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Maurice, can you make sure everyone's muted? We're getting a lot of feedback. Thank you. All right, we're still getting it. Okay, I think that not.
Well, go ahead.
All right, so a history of the property, please, Ms. Coker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think the most pertinent information here is that in calendar number 21-083, which was erroneously cited as 22-083 in the write-up, it is actually calendar number 21-083. The same owner proposed to erect a new 11,540 square foot, 5-unit, 3-story building in an A1 family residential district. The applicant appealed for from the same sections of the zoning code in this case, except that the changes are that that the total square footage was 11,540. That regarding section 355.04, the square footage of the building, that section stated that the square footage of the building cannot exceed 1/2 of the lot size. And in this case, the total of the 2 lots is 16,674 square feet, permitting in a maximum of 8,337 square feet, and 11,540 was proposed at that time. Sorry, that's the total lot area. So the gross floor area in that case was 2,221, which in this case they're proposing 2,189. And so the next one, Madam Chair, I think those are the 2 differences here. Other than at the last hearing, they were requesting to erect 5 units, and today they're requesting to erect 6 units. I think that's all that I have that's relevant.
Okay, thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the maximum gross floor area and front yard setback regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship, particular to the property, such there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. And I would add that last time the staff and the board determined that there were exceptions to the general rule that front yard setbacks can't be granted unless certain conditions were met. The board found that those conditions were met, and therefore there's not any kind of legal impediment for granting a front yard setback variance in this case.
Thank you. You all always hit me off with the front setback question before I get started. I appreciate it. All right. Who will be the spokesperson for this case?
This is Kyle Hulawat with Bowen.
Okay, Kyle, go ahead.
So from last time, from where we were last time, the massing on the two main streets stays the same. What we've done is we've reduced the massing in the back corner. There was a essentially a three-story unit in the back corner that kind of abutted the two residential properties back there. We've removed that and adjusted the layout of the front half of the building from a total of 2 units up there to fit in 4 units. The 2 units along West Boulevard have stayed the same from a massing standpoint, from a planning standpoint. It's the units up on top of on Clifton, which we've kind of redesigned to reduce the overall square footage of the total project. But the footprint of the building remains the same. It's just the overall layout on the inside and the overall square footage has been adjusted. Still garages in the back. We've got to still have the driveway back there. Like I said, the footprint has remained the same throughout the process from when we were here last time.
Let's go through the slides. Maurice, next slide. So you can see it stays the same. There were some comments at design review that we incorporated into the design, or I should say landmarks, and we incorporated all those comments in.
Mr. Bowen, can you just say who you are before you start talking?
David Bowen.
Thank you. All right,
Next.
go ahead, finish. I just wanted to make sure she knew who was talking, our recorder.
All right, thank you. Next slide. So you can see the parking in the bottom left-hand corner. You can see that it was separated one more time. So there's 2 parking spaces there for each one of the smaller units. Next slide. But you can see that they took off the massing on the top of those 4 parking spaces. So now it's lower down that abuts the neighbor to the west. Next slide. It's a second floor roof plan. Next slide. Complete roof plan. Next slide. The elevations changed just a little bit, just for the window penetrations, so they fit within inside each one of the units. It's actually a lot more attractive in our opinion, and there's a number of porches on Clifton Boulevard, which adds to the street presence. As you can see, both the bottom and the top have porches on the second and the first floor. Next slide. This shows the motor court. Next slide. Here's another picture of the motor court. Next slide.
That's all we have for the presentation.
So basically what we're looking for is all this was approved before with larger numbers. and we've made the building smaller, but the same footprint. And we added 1 unit, so we went from 5 to 6 units. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pettit, since the letter's up from you, I'll go ahead and call on you, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you can see on the screen, the commission unanimously approved the project on January 27th for the revised plans. We've seen this project 4 times at the commission level. We saw it conceptually, and we've reviewed it 3 other times based on revisions. The commission continues to support the project. We believe that it's appropriate to the historic district, that it's a high quality design, that it's as about contextual as you can get. And we believe that the scale is appropriate to this location at the corner of Clifton and West Boulevard. We have no objection to the variances. We can continue to support the project strongly. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman?
Can we let my resident go first?
Sure. Mr. Papp, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I know, and I obviously am here speaking on behalf of Mrs. Papp at 10195 Clifton. She certainly wishes and tries to maintain a reputation of being a good neighbor. So there's really not not trying to be a fly in the ointment here. Understand a lot of very smart and good people have reviewed what's going on. So in the parlance of what we had to do is just filing a note of some concerns. I agree. Looking at the plans, the 2 major concerns are, one, the overall size of the building, given the area. 10,000 square feet is, that's pretty large amount of livable space. And it just driving by that location, being near it, it's hard to envision exactly how that scope of size can fit. That also adds into the secondary concern, which is sort of the traffic concerns of the area. If you're familiar with West 102nd, that is one of the unfortunate streets that has been blocked by the median. And so all of the traffic coming off of West 102nd, and there's a fair amount of parking that happens there, has to head eastbound on Clifton. And then again, you'd have to take another right going up West Boulevard. Clearly the concerns about the amount of parking, if there's going to be any overflow parking, and with 6 families being in there, I think it's easy to envision an amounting of 12 cars is certainly not unforeseeable. All that being said, there's really no strong objection per se to the project. Fully respect what people have done, and Mrs. Papp certainly supports the economic development of Cleveland and what everybody's trying to accomplish. So it's, I guess, the best thing that we can say is maybe just a rather than objection, it's more concerns. Concerns about traffic overflow, size of that project. If 10,000 square feet of livable space, if 6 units is absolutely necessary, or if the 5 might provide more, just a less of, because you can see on the slide you're showing with the square, I mean, that is a relatively tight amount of space. Mrs. Papp's property is on, as we're facing the picture, the right side, and you can see a car parked out there. So it's just a concern over how, yeah, exactly. Thank you. So how much overflow parking she does, and people are really generally pretty good about it, but there's more than once where she gets cars encroaching on each side of her drive. You can see the access coming out off West 102nd, but you can also tell how it's impossible. You cannot make a left-hand turn off of West 102nd going onto Clifton. So it's just that volume that's going to increase. I understand that the legal standard for the setback issue has been cleared, And so, there's always been that concern in this residential neighborhood of a large structure coming down closer to Clifton, how that changes the frontage for each of the homes and some of the views. But again, those concerns are just for the, to be set forth for people to chew on. And I understand, and she understands that many, good people have looked at it. So I appreciate the time and appreciate everybody's thoughts on the project.
Thank you, Mr. Papp. To the Bowen team, hope you guys have taken that in, what the neighbors' concerns are. And then after we hear from the council, maybe you guys can talk to that neighbor afterwards about what exactly their concerns are. So go ahead, Mr. Rooney.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm talking on my phone. First I'll start with a question, and I have no reason to doubt this, but Mr. Bowen, have you had any discussions with that immediate neighbor, Josh Ford, about the driveway and the easement?
We've had a couple of discussions early on, but as we start mobilizing and everything, we'll go through exact lineup of the driveway for his benefit.
Okay, but you did, I know I put you in touch, but you're still gonna, and I have no reason to believe you wouldn't, but that was just my major concern was because they have the shared driveway and there's an easement, just that there's cooperation with Josh Ford, but you have been in contact with him?
Yeah, and we'll stake it out for him too, so he can see exactly what he gets. And then we can move the stakes. It's easier to move stakes than concrete.
Yeah, that's just my concern for the commission. That's just the house immediately south of it. They share a driveway and there's an easement. So that's my concern, is that when they do this, and conceptually in the drawings, there doesn't appear to be any interference with the easement, but just in practice, because they have to share that common driveway, I wanted to make sure the developer was in contact and was cooperative with them. And I think they indicated they would be, and that was just my one concern. Now, additionally, with this project, essentially, these variances have been granted 3 times in the previous 5 or 6 years, in 2015, 2018, and last. That were these same variances or substantially similar. So the only difference here is the number of units. And I did have a community meeting before landmarks, and we've had many discussions. I have emails and meetings with the neighbors about this. And I do appreciate the developer did make some modifications based on that landmarks meeting to incorporate a dumpster enclosure that may or may not be used for the dumpster, but maybe for the garbage cans and some other architectural features. But the neighborhood just, in viewing their input, they didn't like, because this is a single family district, they didn't like when there was 5 units. So they're certainly not happy with 6 units. And that's the major input from the community, is that they're generally, not all, but generally unhappy with the 6 unit because of its concern about parking on the street and the increase of traffic. So I just wanted to convey to you, and I did, I'm not sure if other neighbors contacted you. The ones that did contact me, several were in favor. The majority were against this, the 6th unit. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Councilman. Ms. Kukla, you have your hand up?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I received a phone call from Ms. Maria Tent. I see that she's on here this morning. I'm not sure if she was sworn in, though. I believe she is here for this case. Ms. Tent, would you be able to unmute and speak to us? Oh, I see she's waving. Ms. Tent, we can't hear you. But at the bottom of the screen, there is a button that says mute. Do you see that?
Yes.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, there we go. We can hear you.
Well, of course, because I'm the next house to the building.
Ms. Tent, we're gonna have to swear you in before you can testify, so,
Yes,
Ms. Brown.
Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
yes, yes, I do.
Please state your name and your address.
My name is Maria Tent, and my address is 10117 Clifton Boulevard.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Chair.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Tent. Go ahead and speak.
Okay, or of course I am very concerned about this, but because I am the next door to the building, and I live here for so long, and I don't want to be stuck in that house because of the building. 6 units. When I bought the house, was 2 houses there. Now it's 6. How that gonna be with the 6 units there? And I try to do everything to change that. But, you know, with my language, with my, maybe people, they don't understand me. And I have to go maybe all the way to somebody to helping me, because I do not want 6 apartments there. I have was 2 houses, not 6. And everybody concerned about the traffic. How that gonna be with the 6 apartments? Where they gonna park the car? How they gonna be? It's impossible. And you know, I do not know about that the law that good, because of course I am not. But maybe somebody I know better, and we have to have a help to helping us. All the neighbors there complain about it. Nobody want to be stuck with those 6 buildings. And like I told you, I gonna try to go all the way to the top, because to make money, yes, but not in our skin. We don't want to be stuck there. We don't want 6 apartments there. Maybe somebody for the government, for somewhere, we need the help. We cannot leave those people to do this to us. And I have 2 children. I don't want my kids to be stuck with that building. And we're gonna be. I'm so sorry to say that, but I work so hard in that house, and I don't want something like that to happen. And 6 cars, where they gonna park? The next door, Pat, she's very upset. She's in her age, and she lived there forever. She don't want to be stuck with the traffic there. Well, I understand people want to make money. I understand people have a lot of good friends in the city hall to have those buildings done. And we have to go all the way, like I said, to think about all the neighbors, because I see everybody want to make money, but doesn't work. I don't want my kids to go to sue somebody in the court, and they will, because doesn't work 6 apartments there. Even not 5. Was 2 houses there. When I bought the house, was 2 houses. We have to respect the law to build how we have to, not how we want to make money. I'm so sorry, but I don't against nobody, but I know what happened. And if we don't think the neighbors, all the neighbors who are against these buildings there, who are against to build that property there, we have to have a help. That's all I can say. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. And that's all I can do.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tent.
Thank you.
All right, we've heard from the neighbors, Councilman And Mr. Pettit, city planning, is that you, Maurice?
Yes, that would be me, Maurice Rowland, City Planning. Just a question to through the chair to Mr. Bowen. You are providing 2 parking spaces for each unit?
The smaller units, which are under 1,000 square feet, they each get 1.
Each get 1. Okay. So you are, and I will note that they have not been written up for any parking variances, so they are supplying parking for each of the units, 2 for the larger ones, 1 for the smaller ones. We would also point out that this is on a major bus line. Right out in front is the stop. They have also utilized an existing curb cut, so we're not getting any additional curb cuts here, and they're doing the shared driveway easement, which I think is also a plus. We do agree with the Landmarks Commission that this is a very contextual building. It's a high quality building. This is a major intersection here at West Boulevard and Clifton, and it's pretty much anchored by large scale residential buildings on all of the corners. Most of the houses in this neighborhood right here on West Boulevard and immediately adjacent are also significantly, also good sized houses. We don't feel that the traffic increase from adding 6 units here is going to be a problem. So we do support this project.
Thank you. I will open it up to my board now for any questions, comments, or motion.
Madam Chair, just wondering if any of my colleagues have any questions. Otherwise, I'll proceed. Okay. Back when we were meeting live, we unpacked this project pretty extensively, and we had extensive community input at that time. We're now several iterations of this plan down the road. They've been before us, they've been before Landmarks, they've been before Design Committee. The square footage has been reduced. The gross square footage in relationship to the lot size has been reduced. And what they've done with regard to the unit in the southwest corner is that used to be, as I recall, another housing unit on top of that garage. That's now been eliminated so that that portion of the building has a lower profile and lower massing in relation to the neighbors to the west and to the southwest. And as we recall, there was discussion in previous testimony when the representatives were before us that this is going to be a shared drive. As Mr. Rulins pointed out, they're utilizing only 1 curb cut that is on West Boulevard. It's not going to be on Clifton, and it's going to be a shared driveway with the resident to the south. So that eliminates any other curb cuts or traffic that will be in and out on Clifton Boulevard. So just sort of touching on all the points that we've heard previously, and we've approved this previously. Madam Chair, I move that we go ahead and approve these variances again, hopefully for the final time.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second, Ms. Barnes.
Ms. Barnes with the second. Go ahead, call the roll, Ms. Cooper.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Vape?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar 22-025 is granted. It'll be ratified next week, and we will send the appellant a letter.
Thank you very much, Board. We do appreciate it. And as we move forward with this project, the residents are welcome to call me on my cell phone because I live right down the street. So I want to make sure that this goes well for them too. Thank you.
We always like to see you being good neighbors, so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
And Madam Chair, I see. Madam Chair,
we have Councilman Jones' case next.
We have Councilman Griffin on
Mr. Jones was first.
Mr. Jones first. All right.
I'm here, and I don't want to be waiting a whole long time neither, because I'm in
Okay.
another meeting, and I was here very early.
Okay, Mr. Jones, we're about to hear your case now, so just hold on a second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Make sure
So
you mute, Maurice.
moving forward then to calendar number 22-018, we're at 4420 East 156th Street. And as a courtesy to Councilman Jones, we're moving him to the next position. This case regards Robert Wynn, owner, who proposes to install approximately 40 linear feet of 4-foot-high vinyl fence in a front yard and 60 linear feet of 6-foot-high wood fence in a rear yard in an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. And with that, to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Good morning again. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and your address, please.
I do. Councilman Joe Jones, 4691 East 177th Street.
Mr. Wynn, are you here or someone representing Mr. Wynn?
I don't
Yes.
see anybody listed.
There's no one there for Mr. Wen?
No, sorry, Mr. Jones. Councilman Jones, we're gonna have to move to the next case. Liz,
So
can you?
so we don't have Mr. or Mrs. Wen there?
We do not have anyone listed on signed in right now under those names.
Jesus. So the question would be, can they come back on the back end while you go through your caseload today?
Yes, that's why we can hold off until and go to the next case.
Is there a phone number is there a phone number they can call into?
They got all that information from before when they got the notice from Ms. Kugler. So we will hold on. We'll hold on to see if they show up before we end the hearing today. So we'll just move on to the
Thank you,
next
lady.
case.
Thank you to the board. Appreciate the privilege and opportunity.
I will call them right now, Madam Chair, also to see if we can get them on the phone.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move to the next case then. We'll go to Councilman Griffin's case.
All right. Thanks, Madam Chair. We move on to case number 21-188. This was postponed from January 24th of 2022. This is 11811 Shaker Boulevard. Shaker West professional owner proposes to establish use as a mental health and substance abuse treatment center in an E1 residential office district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. Of note, the second postponement was made on this case at the request of the councilman to allow time for a community meeting. The first postponement was requested by Chief City Planner Marka Fields to allow time for further review.
All right, we'll hold off until Maurice. We're not turning on the screen.
I'm having some issues here. What was the first postponement? What was the first postponement date? Did you give that, Ms. Faith?
I do not have the dates on the agenda.
Somehow it did not get included into this PowerPoint, but I do have it. I just need to find out the date. Does Ms.
Madam Chair,
Liz?
to Mr. Rulin's, we have January 10th on this. Okay, so
January 10th?
You want the one, the very first, or does January?
Let me check January 10th.
I think January 10th.
Sorry about
the second date was January 24th, Maurice.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I thought this was in here.
And Madam Chair, I don't see the appellant on here. We did have an issue with the email that they gave us that bounced back to us once we sent out the links last Friday. So if there is somebody here that I'm not seeing, could they please state that they're present?
What was the second date, January 24th?
January 24th, Maurice.
Wow, I am having trouble finding this. Ah, here we go. There we go. Sorry about the delay.
Doesn't matter if we don't have a. if
We don't have an
appellant.
appellant,
Yeah.
You went through all that just for fun, Maurice.
but we're impressed.
Yeah, glad you can bring it up that quick. But yeah, if we don't have anyone for this case either, we'll push them back too and go to the next one.
Okay.
I know that Liz did reach out to them this morning, and I believe she called them as well to let them know that they were on the agenda, and their emails did bounce back when the agendas were sent out. So she has tried to make contact with them this morning.
All right. Well, so we will move on to the.
Are we going back to the beginning?
We're going back to the beginning, which is the first item that is on our actual agenda, which is calendar number 22-015. This is 3814 Whitman Avenue. Jeffrey D. and Leanne Croxon, owner, proposed to erect a one-story frame open front porch attached to an existing single-family residence in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. Of note is number 2, section 341.02B, which state that landmarks approval is required. And with that, to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address.
I do. Leanne Croxon, 3814 Whitman Avenue.
I do. Donald Pettit, Secretary of the Cleveland Landmarks Commission, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
I want to start by saying we're not trying to get relief from having landmarks approval. We already have landmarks approval for this project.
Hey, hold on, Ms. Croxon, we're not ready for your testimony just yet.
Sorry.
Hold on.
Madam Chair.
Okay, I think that's it. All right, history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, I found that in 1919, permit was issued to erect an addition to the structure. 1972, a permit was issued to demolish a garage and erect a new garage. There was a variance in calendar 20-22 where a new building addition for an in-law suite on the second floor of the garage was granted. And then in the more recent history, Madam Chair, we found that in August of last year, permit was issued to re-roof the property. And I think that's all that's relevant, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the side yard and distance regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
this is going to be the, sorry.
You got to mute yourself, Liz. Okay. All right, Ms. Croxon, go ahead and explain what you want to do.
Hi, we're just trying to add a about 4.5 to 5 foot front porch onto the house, and need the variance because our house was constructed previous to there being any zoning requirements, and our house is only 3 feet from the house next to us. So we require this variance in order to construct this open porch.
All right, thank you. Mr. Pettit?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to confirm that the Landmarks Commission has approved this application for the porch. And that's based on the recommendation of the Ohio City Design Review Committee from last year. We fully support the project and we have no objection to the variances being requested.
Thank you. City Plan, is that you, Maurice, for this?
That would be me, Maurice Rowland, City Planning. As Don just stated, this has been approved by the Landmarks Commission, and with respect to the side yard variances, these, as the applicant has stated, these are existing conditions, and they are not going any further into the side yard than what is existing now, so we would 100% recommend approval of this porch.
Thank you. I wish all the cases today were this easy. All right. Board, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, given testimony from Mr. Pettit of Landmarks and their approval being noted, and testimony from City Planning and their support being noted, we know that these are typical conditions for this area. So I move that we go ahead and approve the variance for this case.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Member Brown, I second.
Okay, Ms. Brown with the second. Go ahead, call the roll, Ms. Kukla.
Sorry, Madam Chair, I was on the phone with Mr. Nguyen. Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
And that is calendar 22-015. That's been granted, and we will ratify it next week and send the appellant a letter.
Thank you.
all for your time. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Enjoy your
Showing
portion.
up, appellants.
All right. Do we have one more? I think we have
We
one
do
more.
have one more.
Okay.
This is calendar number 22-017 at 3313 Roanoke Avenue. B.R. Canez, owner, proposes to erect a 20-foot by 40-foot two-story frame single-family residence with a detached garage in an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. Item number 1 is of note, section 357.06A, which states that the required front yard setback is 15.5 feet and the appellant is proposing 9 feet. Please note that the Board of Zoning Appeals is limited in its ability to grant front yard variances unless certain conditions apply. And with that, to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and your address.
I do. Jamie Bauer. I'm with Old Brooklyn CDC, 4274 Pearl Road.
Is there anyone representing Canez?
Sorry, Michael David, BR Canez Construction, 755 Friedel Drive, Concord, Ohio, 44077.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In the records room, we didn't find any relevant information. think that the most important information is that there was a permit issued in 2010 to demolish a 2.5-story single-family dwelling on the site. That's all that I have.
Thank you. Legal standard?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the front yard setback and side yard regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. And please note that section 32904C1 may limit the board's ability to grant the requested front yard setback variance.
All right, thank you. Maurice, you got an update on this front yard setback?
Yes, Madam Chair. Unfortunately, you're not going to be happy about this one. We have not resolved the issues with this one at this point. I think there might have been an issue where the person at Canez that was originally handling this is gone. I don't know if that led to probably any of the delay. We do not see a reason that you could actually grant this variance, but I leave it up to Michael David to prove me wrong, and we do support this house. I just am not sure that the board can grant the front yard setback variance. I have the screenshot that we have up right now of an aerial. I want to point out, first of all, that these are not field verified numbers. These are just from using the measuring tool that comes with this program that we use for aerials. And if you see the average or the setbacks in the surrounding area, I don't see where a 9-foot front yard setback could be accommodated by the Board of Zoning Appeals, but I will leave that up to Canez, the developer, to make that case. And again, we fully support a new house in this area. 100% support the house. It's just that, as you know, we have this difficulty with front yard setbacks, which, by the way, just wanted to mention that we are looking at maybe revising the code for that.
Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? Yeah, I'm kind of looking at that. It seems like 9 feet is kind of far back from the rest of the street. But go ahead, Mr. David, convince us.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I appreciate your time this morning. Maurice is correct that at least on the southern side of Roanoke, where our house is proposed to be located, the setbacks are deeper than 9 feet. You will notice on the northern side, there are much closer homes set to the property line, some as close as 6 feet from the property line. We haven't, as Maurice mentioned, we did lose someone here at Canez who typically handled these, and she recently left, so we were a little behind the 8 ball on this. I would like to bring to your attention that our proposed home is 38 feet deep, which is shorter than a majority of homes on Roanoke, and we are trying to accommodate a 2-car garage, which many of the homes on Roanoke lack. And in order to accommodate the ability to pull in that second car, we needed to move the home up. We looked at potentially doing a attached garage, but the lot narrowness prevented a car from being able to back out easily. So we're, with the house plans that we currently have, we are somewhat limited in what we can do on the site. I can, if the board would like, get our engineers to go out and field verify some of the distances for the setbacks from the surrounding homes, if that would help convince the board to grant this variance.
Yeah,
Madam.
I was going to go ahead, Maurice.
Well, just Madam Chair, I just wanted to point out that I do understand that the houses on the other side of the street are in fact closer to the street, but unfortunately the code only accounts for the houses on the same side of the street. Yes, I know, it's another one of those technicalities. It is a narrow street, and there are a lot of houses with front porches close to the street on the other side. Unfortunately, on this side, some of the houses are pulled way back, causing this setback issue. And I can't state enough that we are in support of houses, these new houses here. We just can't seem to find a way. And I'd be more than happy to work with Knez to find a way to get these built.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think maybe a postponement is in order, so you can get your crew out there and try to measure, and then you can work with city planning and try to figure out what best way to do that, because that seems to be your major variance here before us that we probably can't grant. So,
And Madam Chair, we also have Miss Bauer from Old Brooklyn with her hand raised.
Oh, go ahead, Ms. Bauer.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to say that Old Brooklyn CDC strongly supports granting this variance and getting this house built. This investment would really, truly help this part of the neighborhood and bring up housing values. And I would also mention that the state road end of Roanoke and all the streets over there, where the median age is 1916. So a lot of these houses were built before zoning, so the setbacks are over the place on Roanoke, Searsdale, all of those streets. So I think that we have to be really thoughtful about how we can accommodate a house in a much needed new house with a 2-car garage.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. It's just my hands are tied right now with these front yard variances that are the bane of my existence, but I can't do anything right now. Yeah.
It's very frustrating when you see a project like this where, we are 100% in support of these homes being built here. They're needed.
So simple. Yep.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, just from the legal point of view, I think everybody knows this, but no matter, there's great arguments here that have been made to put the house closer than the allowed setback, but the board does not have the legal authority to do it, so.
Yeah,
no matter how much sense it might or might not make.
Please change zoning.
I'm aware of that.
We're actually looking at that right now.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we're going to have to postpone this until you guys can work that front setback get out. So I'm going to go ahead and postpone the case.
Madam Chair, do you want a motion for that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, but then Mr. David, contact Mr. Rulins, over at City Planning, and so you guys can try to work something out here.
Absolutely. I appreciate the board's time this morning.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Faith.
Okay, Madam Chair, given all the testimony we've heard today and the intent to work things out between Knez and City Planning, I move that we postpone this case.
Have a second, please.
Second.
Okay, double second. All right, go ahead. Call the roll, please, Ms. Kuka.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Vaith?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar 22-015 is granted. Conditionally, it'll be ratified next week, and we will send you a
Liz,
letter.
we're not on that. We're on 22-017 for Roanoke.
Oh, sorry. Did I say?
And that's to postpone the case.
Oh, we're postponing it?
I would have taken granting it. I mean,
I apologize. I was still on the phone with Mr. Wynn. We're trying to get him in. Okay, so we're postponing it.
Yes.
Do we have a date? Do you want a date? What, April 11th, April 4th, April 18th?
Yeah, I would give them. Maurice, you think you guys can wrap this up in 30 days?
I think so.
Okay. All right. We'll give them the 4th, and then and Mr. David, if you guys get closer and feel like it's not settled yet, just let us know before your date. Then we can, move it to the next week or so.
Will do.
Okay. And Madam Chair, we're postponing this to allow time to work out the setback.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Chair, that brings us back to 22018. Has Ms. Kukla been successful getting a hold of Mr. Wynn?
Yes, I believe he is calling user 2. So to Mr. Wynn, please hit *6 on your phone, or the *6 on your phone to unmute yourself.
I only see one call-in user.
I also see Mr. Nguyen as online.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
So we have lost Councilman Jones.
Mr. Nguyen, are you able to unmute yourself? I believe he had trouble with his microphone. He was getting an error message. I could give him a call back if you'd like to try it through the phone. One moment.
Madam Chair, while we wait for that, is Mr. Goudreau for Shaker?
Yeah, I was going to say, anyone on for that?
Want to move ahead?
Well, we just want to see if that's
the person.
Yeah.
I think he's having trouble unmuting.
Oh, yeah, I can see he's talking, but we can't hear him.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, this is Mr. Goodrow. I'm the director of the Harvard Community Services Center Community Development Corporation in Ward 1. So I'm here on the 22-018 case.
Okay, so you're here about the fence. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have anybody for Shaker Heights, or not Shaker Heights? I'm sorry, Shaker Boulevard.
Shaker Boulevard. You're taking us out of our jurisdiction, Maurice.
Yeah, yeah.
We do have the
118.
councilman still on with us.
Yeah, he's not the appellant though.
No.
We love the councilman, but he's not the appellant.
Exactly.
Oh, we have his lovely assistant here, who's but yeah, but we don't we need the appellant.
I don't know what to say.
We don't either.
I'm unmuted, I think.
Yes, we can hear you.
That's Mr. Nguyen.
Excellent.
Great.
Okay.
Great. Well, that's one
Mr.
down.
Nguyen, we're going to go ahead and proceed with swearing you in then, all right?
This is Robert Wynn. Are you talking to me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, sir, we are going to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? If you do, please raise your hand, state your name and your address, and say, I do.
Robert Wynn, 4420 East 156th Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44128. I do.
All right, thank you. Hold on one sec. Did we go through the history yet, Liz, for this? I can't remember. It's been too much back and forth.
No, we haven't.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. Found in our Records Administration Office that a permit was issued in 1951 to erect a single-family home. 1953, a permit was issued to erect a private garage. 1962, a permit was issued to finish the attic. There are no variances on file. And then in the more recent history in our Acela system, we found that a permit was issued to erect a vinyl fence in July of 2021. But then in January of this year, the permit was void. So the applicant applied again, and we are here to address the issues for the reason that it was void. That's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances in the fence regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Nguyen, go ahead, tell us what you like to do, or it looks like it's been done, but go ahead.
Tell you what?
Tell us what you like to do. Well, what's going on with your case here?
Oh, okay. Well, I got a fence up that's it's not opaque. You know, that's what they're saying, but the purpose of it is for I was having a lot of interference from the people that were living next door and coming on my property and with vehicles as well. And that's why I installed the fence. It's a privacy fence. It's a vinyl fence. It's 8 inches in the back from the back. 6 feet. I'm sorry. 6 feet. Yeah.
And 4 in the front.
And 4 in the front.
And everybody can go out the driveway.
And it's not blocking line of sight. So I'm wondering if it can give me a variance on that. You should. I don't know. There's pictures that you can see. I guess you can see them. I don't know.
Yeah, we have them, Mr. Nguyen.
Okay.
Madam Chair, let me just add a little bit of information here, a little backstory. From what I've been,
because it looks like it's up already. So I'm wondering what's going on.
yeah.
Okay.
So from what I've been told, and I don't believe there's anybody here from the Building and Housing Department to verify what I'm saying, but Ms. Wagner could verify what I'm saying. This permit, Mr. Nguyen did get a permit for this, but it was issued in error by the Division of Building and Housing. They, from what I understand, they issued a permit that permitted this fence. And I don't know how it came back to Building and Housing, that it was, whether there was a complaint filed or what, that caused them to notice that they had issued the permit in error, because as you know, you cannot have a 4-foot fence in the front yard that's completely opaque, and you also would need to be 15 feet back from the sidewalk to preserve sight lines for somebody backing out. So that's what happened. So that's why the fence is pre-existing. He did not build it without a permit, as far as I know. The permit was voided and then reissued, and then of course it was adjudicated with the violations that we're looking at today.
Okay, so
That's
Mr.
the information I have.
Okay, so Mr. Nguyen, are you looking to keep your fence the way it is right now?
Yeah, I would love to. Yes.
Okay, and Maurice, what are issues with this?
So
It's too
yeah,
it's too far to the front of the yard.
it needs to be 15 feet back from the sidewalk, the inner edge of the sidewalk, or 2.5 feet in height, 15 feet back. And the rest of the fence would need to be, I believe, 50% transparent. Right now, it's 100% opaque. Those are the code issues that he's been cited for.
Okay. All right. Let me hear from Mr. Goudreau first, and then we'll try to figure something here.
Good morning, everyone. I could verify with the residents' complaints about the neighbors next door. We've been involved a few times with, working with him over that. His answer was the fence. I did go down through the street, notice that there were 7 other houses that had fences going out in the front, similar to what Mr. Nguyen has put in, but they are chain links. He has the only opaque, so having already had the permit issued in error, only to have it revoked after he'd already installed the fencing, we're at your mercy. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Maurice. Yeah, I hate that, he was allowed to do this and then it got circled back and then now he can't. If we can figure out some kind of happy medium here.
So in my opinion, the one issue that really is important is the safety issue of someone backing out of the neighbor's driveway. I'm not so concerned about the opaqueness of the fence further back in the front yard. And I'd be willing to overlook that, even though we normally don't, but this is kind of a unique situation.
Mhm.
And I regret what happened with Mr. Nguyen with this, his permit being voided. I've never dealt with this before. So I would be willing to allow the 4-foot high opaque fence in the front yard, but I think we should work something out with respect to the sight lines when somebody is backing out. I wouldn't want to approve this fence and then have somebody, a pedestrian, whatever, get hit as somebody is backing out of that driveway because there wasn't clear line of sight. If it wasn't a safety issue, if it was just an aesthetic issue, I think I'd be perfectly happy to let this go because of the unique circumstances here.
Mr. Ruins, we have to see, we can see, it's back far enough for line of sight. Our driveways, if you're familiar with this street, they're elevated at the apron.
Yeah, well, but it's not your driveway that I'm concerned about. It's the neighbor's driveway that when they're backing out, the fence is directly next to their car as they're backing out.
Yeah, the people that were living there at the time, it's new people in there now, and they don't seem to have a problem. And I have to look that way as well when I'm backing out my driveway. I have to look both ways, which would be to my left and right.
Maurice, what if he?
Consideration. All I'm asking you, I mean, I wouldn't.
Okay,
if
hold
it
on.
was
I know. Hold on one second, Mr. Nguyen. Hold on one second. Maurice, what if he just removes one of the panels in the front?
Oh,
I think we could be okay with that.
Okay.
So, Mr. Nguyen, the panel that's the closest to the sidewalk, remove that panel, and that way that'll give your neighbor next door a better line of sight backing out.
That neighbor is gone.
But you will have another one at some point, ma'am. So we just want to make sure
Hopefully
that
they'll be.
Yeah.
And he's going and coming very well. Hasn't had a problem.
We understand, but we're trying to reach, a negotiation here. So are you all okay with removing just one panel at the end, the one that's closest to the sidewalk?
One panel?
Yes.
You talking about a whole panel? I don't think so.
Removing one panel at the end of the drive that's closest to the sidewalk, and that will help with line of sight issues that the city has.
From you speaking, Kelly, from post to post. Are you seeing the fence?
Yes.
But
Yes,
Maurice, you're nodding okay?
Yes, sir. Yeah, just the first panel. So the first post and the first panel, and leave everything else intact. I think that would be sufficient to provide line of sight.
that's not gonna be enough. I'm going to tell you right now, because I got nuisance reports all down at 4th District with this woman that did the complaining. And now she's gone.
So the other alternative would be to simply replace it. If you want to still have a border there, which I understand is what your ultimate intent is to stop people from driving on your lawn. That's what I'm getting from what you're saying. You could remove that panel and put in a 2.5-foot high panel. So you'd still have a border, but it would allow the sight lines for when somebody is backing out. That would be the other, I think, acceptable alternative. Madam Chair, would you be okay with that?
Yes. So you have two options in front of you, ma'am. You can go with removing that panel and replacing it with the 2-foot one, or just removing the panel, period, and go from there. So which one would you like to do?
Okay, so to protect my lawn, if I move the panel, everybody in this neighborhood try to keep their lawns up, okay? My lawn was laid. So you want me to remove it, and they still gonna run over it.
Or to put down the 2 feet. Okay. We'll and we got to what to do this. So we got to the weather breaks, I'm sure.
Well, we just need to get this through the system, and you'll have a while to redo the fence. But we need confirmation from you of which one you prefer to do.
I prefer, dropping it down to 2 feet from the,
Okay.
between the last 2 posts closest to the sidewalk.
Okay, that works. Thank you. All right, Ms. Faith, can you do a motion, please?
I'm sorry?
I'm not talking to you right now, Mr. Nguyen. Hold on.
Madam Chair, given the testimony from City Planning and the CDC, we appreciate the fact that there's an issue that went with the permit through Building and Housing, and we appreciate that there's a history with the neighbor. So we're going to allow the fence to remain with the alteration that the resident has agreed upon, that the panel of the fence and the post of the fence that is most adjacent to the public sidewalk will be lowered to 2 feet from 4 feet.
All right, thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Was that Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Okay, second from Ms. Barnes. Go ahead, call the roll, Ms. Cooper.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Faith? I'm sorry, I didn't hear Ms. Faith.
I didn't hear you call my name, Liz.
call
I'm
her
sorry.
name.
I am a yes.
Okay. Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar 22-018 is granted conditionally. The condition is that the portion between the first and second panel will be, first and second post will be reduced down to 2 feet. It'll be ratified next week, and we will send the appellant a letter.
Mr. Chairman, can you guys hear me now?
Oh, yes.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, I'm in council reconciliation right now with the administration and the council as a whole. And I tried to get in there earlier and wanted to share with you guys my input that I'm in support of both of these changes in the code or change of a variance change.
Okay, thank you. Well, we just granted the
Well, Pat
the
Britt,
wind staircase.
distinguished chairman, I support
This is Callie Britt.
yes, colleague Brigg. I'm sorry, thank you. Please forgive me. I'm so used to saying Pat Britt. It just, been saying it for 20 some years or better, actually, 25 years. My take here is that this neighbor has unfortunately been plagued by this renter that's there, and there's neighbor homes around that area that really keep their properties up. The winds have been there over 50 years, and try to work with the person who rents the property out, and I've asked them to go ahead and to appeal this, and I would support them on both of these variances.
Okay, Councilman, we just granted the variance is what I'm trying to tell you. So they
Well,
have
can't
they
you
have their
go?
variance.
So they have both variances?
They have their variances, yes.
Okay, so then they don't have to do any changes here. They keep it
They
as it is.
No, we worked out an agreement. They're gonna lower the front panel to 2 feet for line of sight issues, but everything else will stay the same.
I see. Okay. All right.
That's for safety, Councilman, that we're,
Thank you.
and they've
Yeah, thank you,
agreed.
Councilman.
Okay. All right. Well, okay.
Thank you for being present.
Thank you all for holding it, and thank you for your time concerning the issue. You guys have a wonderful day.
You as well.
You too.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, do we have anyone present for our final case?
That would be a question for Ms. Kukla. Is
Yeah.
anyone here for the Shaker case?
Yes, the Jennifer name that's on the list here is the representative.
Okay.
I'm present.
Okay, so we'll move back to calendar number 21-188 at 11811 Shaker Boulevard.
You guys still with me?
Yes,
Mr. Nguyen.
Okay. All right, I'll say bye to you then.
Bye, thank you.
Bye-bye. So to Ms. Brown for the oath for those in attendance for this case.
Okay, I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and your address, please.
I do. Lavita Parker, representing Council President Blaine Griffin, 601 Lakeside Avenue, room 220.
I do. Marka Fields, Chief City Planner, 601 Lakeside.
I do. Jennifer Sherman for Braylon Health, 11811 Shaker Boulevard, Suite 301.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned multifamily in 1929. In 2007, it was changed to residence office. In our Records Administration Office, I found that in 1959, a permit was issued to erect a concrete block medical office with basement parking. And then 1965, a permit was issued to erect a 4-story addition to an office building. There are no variances on file for this address. Then in our CELA system, I found that there were over 100 permits in that database. I pulled out some of the most recent and most pertinent permits. In 2017, permit was issued to establish use as a snack shop and deli. Also, in 2017, a permit was issued to establish a carry-out restaurant in the site. In 2010, a permit was issued to establish a daycare. In 2018, a permit was issued to establish medical offices on the first floor, Suite 123. And August of 2020, a permit was issued to establish medical administration office. No patients would be treated at that time. 2021, a permit was issued to establish a lash salon in Suite 115. I also found that between 2004 to present, there were yearly food licenses issued. That's all we have that's relevant, Madam Chair.
That's a lot. Okay, go ahead to legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Sherman, go ahead and present your case.
Yes, Braylon Health was asking for a variance for this particular location so that we could open and operate our outpatient behavioral health services. The location was previously used by the juvenile court, and it just did not have the occupancy in which we needed to fully operate our services. And so we just went back to the city to see if we could get this forbearance to be able to provide and operate these services to our clients here at this location. Particularly. I have went before the community meeting, and I feel like this project would be a great asset to the community and to this building. I personally don't see any risk factors. We know for sure that we would not be bringing any additional risk or concerns to the building that we feel that the community should be aware, should be concerned about.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Parker from the councilman's office, you've held on long enough. We'll hear what you got to say so you can leave.
She deserves a medal.
She does.
Well, thank you so much. I wanted to let you know that Council President is supporting this project in Ward 6. So just wanted to let you know he's in full support of this project.
All right, thank you. You can go forth and do your duties now, Ms. Parker.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, last but not least, Marker Fields.
Yes, just wanted to express our support as well. She did go to the community and presented it to the community. I think there was a recognition from some of the members of the community that the need is there for this type of use. And she also talked about how she would manage it, which is one of the concerns, I think, in this area, especially considering the fact that there are schools that are in close proximity. So the one thing that she said that I think was somewhat encouraging is that they actually provide transportation for their clients and monitor, fairly closely. So we don't think it'll be any type of issues with the clients or any conflicts with existing uses. So we are in support of what they're proposing.
Thank you. All right, I'll open it up to my board for any questions, comments, or entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'm just confirming, this is all outpatient counseling, no residential treatment?
No, it's all outpatient.
Thank you. No other question.
Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
I said no other question. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So Madam Chair, I think that concludes the questions from the board. Given testimony that we've heard from Ms. Parker on behalf of Council President Griffin, and also testimony from Chief City Planner Marka Fields, who both parties support this project. It seems like there is a need in the community. And this seems like a good site, and they're also supplying transportation for the patients, so that's a nice amenity as well. So given all the support, I move that we go ahead and approve the variances for calendar number 21-188.
Thank you. You can have a second.
Thank
you. Ms. Barnes with the second. Go ahead, call the roll, please.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said. I said yes for Ms. Faith.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for answering for me since I wasn't on. I wasn't unmuted, and I'm working with a headset that only has one good earphone. So my vote is yes.
Thank you.
Kukla.
Should I call you again, Ms. Britt?
Yes, for the record.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Thank you. Calendar 21-188 is granted. They'll be ratified next week, and we will send the appellant a letter.
Thank you.
I just had a quick question, Jennifer. Are those solar panels on the top of the building?
They are.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay, thanks.
That's a lot,
I didn't
too,
notice that before. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they were recently done within the last year.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Excellent.
All right. Well, good
Luck
luck,
to
Ms.
you.
Sherman.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chair, that finally concludes our cases for today.
All right. Old business.
We have 1, 3, and 4.
Okay. Old business 1, 3, and 4 without objection.
Without objection.
And then we have this request for rehearing. I sent you the letter, and this is from Laura Siraki. This is the second neighbor who has requested a rehearing regarding this. And I think Lori had some comments on this one.
Yes.
Yes, I did. The board does not have jurisdiction to hear this request for rehearing since other neighbors have taken this case to the common pleas court. The fact that this particular neighbor may not be one of the appellants in court doesn't matter. It's a jurisdictional issue, and the case is in the court now. The second thing is, reading the substance of what they were calling new evidence. My recollection, and the board can verify this for themselves, is that the fact that the garage might be torn down and parking might be reduced was kind of extensively discussed at the original hearing. So I don't know that it would fall in the category of new evidence. But either way, the board doesn't have jurisdiction to hear this.
All right, thank you, Lori. Okay, well, yeah, with it going to common pleas court, we can't weigh in on this, so I need a motion to deny the rehearing request.
Madam Chair, given the statement just made by our legal advisor that the case is currently in the Court of Common Pleas, I move, and it removes it from our jurisdiction. I move that we deny the request for rehearing.
I have a second. Second from Ms. Barnes. Go ahead, call the roll, please.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes? Yes. Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
The request for rehearing regarding these cases was denied, and we will send the appellant a letter this week.
All right, thank you. All right, everyone have a good week.
Madam Chairman, could I ask the board to stay for a minute? Doesn't matter whether it's public record or not, but I just wanted to let you know that at the end of the month, I am retiring. So
wow.
Lori.
Hopefully the